Hello and welcome to the 7th recording in our 8-part series for new leader training for MNCoE Innovations. We're happy to have you. Moving into this section, we are going to be thinking about data collection and use for your innovation. So the first thing to become familiar with in your implementation team manual is the data submission plan. In our data submission plan, we outline for you each of the tools that are used, the purpose of the tool, who is taking the data and using the data, when that data is collected, and which pieces are entered into the online data system. And our online data system is the Minnesota Innovation Implementation Data, or MID, as we call it. So there are some steps for us in terms of using data, including creating our EDIM account in MID for data managers, administrators, behavior coaches, and internal coaches, and then monitoring program-wide implementation using the benchmarks of quality and our coaching logs, monitoring the fidelity of practice using the TPOT, the CEM checklist, or the FIPI, and monitoring individual child engagement and behavior using either the behavior incident report or the STARE. Using data to make decisions in our innovation work can be for identifying training needs, thinking about ongoing professional development, looking at programmatic changes such as how we communicate with and engage with families, what type of staff support we're developing. We'll be using some data in classroom engagement model and pyramid model to problem solve to support specific children. And we'll be thinking about how these practices are ensuring child learning and success. We're also taking a look at our fidelity of implementation as intended, and it's an ongoing process. So using our data is a systematic plan we use called Look, Think, Act. And you can find this information in your implementation team manual. I'm just going to pull it up so you can see what your data section looks like. We'll go ahead and grab the classroom engagement model this time. So if I click on my right-hand corner of our implementation team manual, I can go to our Using Data to Make Decisions tab. I have our overview piece here telling us why we're taking data and how we're going to use this Look, Think, Act process to analyze our data and create a plan. We also have, for each of the steps of the Look, Think, Act process, some questions that we might consider. As a leader coming into an existing program, you might be wondering, when does your implementation team review data? When do your coaches review data? How has your external coach supported you in analyzing your data in the past? Or what support might be needed going forward? We collect our data in the Minnesota Innovation Implementation Data System through the EDM accounts. And so finding the access to this is on our MNCoE data share site. You can certainly ask your data manager for more information about who currently has an account in MID, who needs an account, and how can you as an administrator be set up to access the MID information. And all of these support documents are available to you on our MNCoE data share site. Once all of your data is entered into MID, we have some dashboards that provide instant charts and graphs so that you can engage in the Look, Think, Act process. For example, we have the benchmarks of quality showing a district's implementation over the past several years. You can use this to look for your successes as well as to create action plans. Perhaps in this review of data, you might look and say, wow, we have really done well implementing a staff capacity support plan. And maybe you're going to share out this data with your staff and helping them to see how their feedback has driven your decision-making as an implementation team. You might also decide to do some action planning around family engagement or around staff readiness and buy-in, seeing that those items are at or below 50% implementation. And we'll want to be sure we're hitting all of those indicators to set us up for program-wide adoption success. So the administrator's role in data collection is really ensuring that data is reviewed and used on an ongoing basis. Your implementation team has resources to look at the data, to think about a calendar of reviewing data, questions to ask, etc. And as an administrator, it may be your role to support the ongoing use of data, to connect with the external coach about any supports that he or she can provide, so that the culture of using data becomes strong in your program or continues to be strong if it's already there. Thinking about that process of look, think, act, and engaging in those database decision-making, thinking also about what data is meaningful and appropriate to share with staff and caregivers so that our families, our staff members, our other district professionals are aware of the progress we're making. And then finally, thinking about how do we continue to take data over time? What data will be meaningful and how will we continue to use it? So here's where we'll pause the recording. We'll conclude with your opportunity to dig into data in your program. Maybe you want to start by logging into the MID system. You might want to try the dashboard tab to take a look. What are our current benchmarks of quality scores? Where is your program's strength at the moment? What opportunities for growth? Maybe this is a time to shoot an email to the data manager and set up a time to talk and find out how data is going with your implementation. Thinking about what do you know about the data being collected? Look at your manage staff tab. Think about the number of staff who are in that beginning phase of their coaching to fidelity plan. How many folks are in expanding and how many folks are already maintaining these practices? Just getting a sense of where is your program in the implementation. And so I'll leave you with this and then meet you back for our final recording, which will be understanding your external coach and finding those resources you need.